Today on review we are looking at Hardcore Uprising for Xbox Live Arcade, which Hardcore Uprising is somewhat a reboot of the Contra series, which, if you can't tell by the name, if you're a PlayStation 2 Contra fan, Contra Uprising is of course done in a more 2D anime style with artwork done by the studio who have brought you Guilty Gear and Blade Blue, so fit a very unique look to this. But the story of Hardcore Uprising is only told pretty much in loading screen in between level, and in return doesn't really make much sense on what is happening, and in return to make it where you don't really kill overall. But then again, the story of Contra is not exactly the most important thing. The important thing here is the difficulty and the gameplay itself. The gameplay, of course, now you have arcade mode, which is pretty much play it like old Contra. You have a set number of lives, and you try to make it as far as you can, or beat the game if you're able to. And then you have Rising mode, which adds a RPG gameplay mode here, which have you gaining point depending on how fast you get through the level, how well you do your kill. And with the points you can go buy more life, upgrade to your weapon, ability for when you're dashing. You have many options to do to edit your character. The problem with this is a lot of the stuff is extremely high in value, which add a little bit of frustration, mainly because you having to replay so many levels over and over again just to get the money up to buy this stuff. The grinding is quite ridiculous in this game, and in some cases a little drastic at most. And on top of that, when it comes to the actual game modes here, when you end the game, the first couple levels is all fine and dandy, but as you get to a middle side point, you will realize this game is not really about skill and fairly cheap in a lot of places just to be cheap. The game would just be throwing so much stuff at you, and many of the bosses don't make much sense on how to kill them. And then on top of it would be the weapon drop, which you can pick up to add ability to your weapon, such as flamethrower, shooting more than one bullet, a super machine gun, and so on. You only get them a handful of times throughout the level, and on top of that, when you get hit, that weapon is automatically taken away from you. And so in many cases, bet to right when you grab the weapon, because you're going out of your way to get it, and then when you get it, second you land, you get hit, you lose it, which add a quite pointlessness to it. It's just sad that the game have to go the more cheap route instead of the more skill-based route. Because the game is not easy by any means, especially in some of the later levels. But to help with the frustration, of course, you can have up to 2-player co-op in this, which each of you can play as 2 different characters, a woman and a male character, and you have the ability to change the color of the outfit they're wearing. Well, along with the RPG side, we add a nice little replayability there, and nice to have somebody there helping you on some of these levels, because you will need the help, if anything, just from them throwing so many people at you. But any with multiple people, it's still very difficult. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to being able to hold out as long. If you're able to upgrade your character into multiple life, you will last longer, and it comes down to how many life you got compared to how skillful you are of getting past the level, which is of course very sad. On the actual loading screen side, I bet to be waiting anywhere up to 30 seconds, all the way up to over a minute just for some of these levels to load. So the basic of this game is bet to need a lot of patience, and probably a few controls, because many cases will actually break you down and make you not want to play this game ever again, which is sad. So overall, I give Hardcore Uprising a 2 out of 5.